thank you everyone for coming here today. It's really great to see so many of you turn up for this seminar or a conference. Today I'm going to tell you about the Nordic Innovation Forum, which actually initiated this event today. The Nordic Ministers for Trade and Innovation have decided that in the period 2011 to 2013, they will work together to find innovative solutions to the significant challenges that the Nordic countries face in the next years. The economic crisis and competition from emerging economies makes it vital to generate growth through higher productivity and lower costs and the ability to develop products and services in a global market, vital for the Nordic nations. Climate change and increased demand for new and climate-friendly and inexpensive energy solutions will make it essential to transform society and renew energy production and conservation and green business models and climate-friendly buildings and modes of transport. This has all been very evident from all the speakers who have presented this morning. Also, just to remind you, demographic change means that an increasing proportion of senior citizens will need to be supported and funded by a shrinking population of working age. This, of course, increases the pressures on the welfare state in general, and especially on the healthcare sector, which faces an ever-increasing demand for solutions, new solutions, and innovation and entrepreneurship are key to solving these major challenges. As a result of these challenges, the Nordic trade ministers want closer Nordic cooperation in areas in which there is a clear added value in pooling Nordic resources and knowledge as a part of efforts to find innovative solutions to joint challenges. And the main focus of Nordic cooperation on entrepreneurship and innovation must be on green growth and prosperity, as new solutions in these areas are essential in order to maintain and further develop the Nordic welfare model. The work will revolve around the work proposed by the Nordic Ministers for Trade and Innovation will revolve around 6 lighthouse projects, so-called lighthouse projects, because they are intended to lead the way in policy. They are 6, and each of them is designed to serve as a role model for Nordic cooperation on innovation. And one of these projects is the Nordic Innovation Forum, which I'm going to talk about here today. The vision and the objective of the Nordic Innovation Forum is to find ways to stimulate innovation within green growth and welfare in the Nordic region. The Nordic ministers have emphasized the importance of Nordic cooperation, as I said earlier, to meet the challenges which the countries, the Nordic countries and the world face due to climate changes and global competition. And the mandate set for the Innovation Forum is to focus on, on innovation and how innovation can enhance the transformation to an economy based on green growth and simultaneously secure welfare for Nordic citizens. The ministers agreed in their declaration that it would only be through insistent innovation that the Nordic countries can be at the forefront and create new jobs and maintain jobs and competitiveness, and sustain the preconditions of the welfare state in the Nordic nations. So our objective as a steering group for the Nordic Innovation Forum is to demonstrate how these three concepts, innovation, green growth, and welfare, can be integrated to create a point of departure to support the vision of the Nordic ministers to be a leading innovation region for green growth and welfare. And the steering group, which is of course represented by specialists from all the Nordic nations, started its work last year and will deliver its report and recommendations to the Council of Ministers next autumn. And the intention of the Nordic Ministers for Trade and Innovation is that the recommendations of the steering group and of the other steering groups in these lighthouse projects will be implemented no later than in 2013. We know from the Gro Harlem Brundtland report about the three pillars of sustainability: the social, the economic, and the environmental. We have really found that the illusion of these three separate spheres of the economic, the social, and the environmental aspects of sustainable development is under pressure. The overall consensus is moving towards a more integrated view of the environmental and social aspects as a prerequisite for sustainable economic growth. So the picture that we want to be looking at looks more like this, where the three spheres are more embedded within each other. A more integrated approach. Countless studies and projects on innovation within green growth and have been carried out, and the same applies to innovation within the field of welfare. But fewer attempts have, however, been made at studying how innovation can be used in the context of an integrated approach to green growth and welfare. The issue of green growth is currently driven by the dual engines of political will to act and the prospect of economic growth through new green business. While both are commendable, perhaps neither is strong enough to make the necessary breakthrough transition away from our unsustainable societies and economies over to sustainable societies and economies. The social aspect of sustainability is extremely important, as there exists a very strong correlation between economic growth and increased welfare. The social aspect of sustainability in the Nordic region is also very closely associated with the concept of welfare, and in the context of this work, the steering group, which I'm representing here, considers them as interchangeable. It is in the context It is in the context of the Nordic. It is in the context of the Nordic concept of welfare that the Nordic region substantially sets itself apart from the rest of the world. The prevailing understanding of welfare in the Nordic region is that it entails a holistic approach to a combination of factors such as health, happiness, prosperity, and well-being in general, supplied in part by strong public services. Improvements in welfare have not traditionally been innovation-driven, but currently macroeconomic developments are making innovation more important, if not compulsory, within welfare. The lack of growth caused by the global financial crisis combined with demographic development is increasing the pressure on economic well-being and welfare services throughout the Nordic region. Here, innovation is a key factor in the Nordic countries' ability to sustain our current level of welfare with fewer resources and more dependence in the future. The public sector is and will be firmly in the driver's seat when it comes to how welfare services are developed and provided in the future, whether these services are provided by the public sector itself or procured in the private sector. And this means that the public sector will need to be very innovative itself. As a part of the Innovation Forum project, a mapping of Nordic innovation strategies and a SWOT analysis was carried out on the Nordic innovation in green growth and welfare by the Danish think tank Mandamon. The mapping showed that all Nordic countries are to varying degrees working towards a more open approach to innovation that involves users, focuses on demand, and adds to social dimension. Thus, though Nordic countries have quite different backgrounds, they seem to be moving in the same direction in their approaches to innovation. The mapping of innovation strategies shows that there are three major drivers for innovation, which are repeated by all governments in the Nordic countries in policy: globalization, climate changes, and the aging population. And this suggests that the approach to innovation in the Nordic countries is already on a path towards common objectives and solutions to common problems. And this SWOT analysis shows that even though innovation flourishes in all 5 Nordic countries, no Nordic country excels in using the knowledge gained from projects and initiatives on the national scale. It is rare that experience from innovative projects is spread to users in similar situations. The coming years will be characterized by an ever more competitive global environment where countries and companies rush to deliver solutions which the Nordic countries want to solve and all other countries want to solve. By using the public sector as a catalyst for innovation with green technology and welfare, the Nordic countries can put themselves in a good position relative to other European and international competitors. There's a need for a bridge builder between the societal problems and the markets where most innovations are created. The mediator is a new Nordic innovation policy that thinks beyond the narrow fields of economic competition and incorporates all 3 dimensions of sustainability: the economic, the social, and the environmental. A new Nordic innovation policy where the public sector plays a pivotal role in spurring the needed sustainable solutions in close cooperation with companies, citizens, and organizations. The development of a new innovative culture in the public sector is a precondition for this. The Nordic countries must reinvent the so-called Nordic model in order to meet the challenges posed by demography, economy, environment, and climate and globalization. The experimental society is the Finnish vision for innovation. The goal of the Finnish innovation strategy is to improve the well-established competence-based innovation policy of Finland. Until 2009, innovation in Finland was mostly seen as research and development and technology in collaboration between businesses and research institutions. The Finnish National Innovation Strategy, which was published in 2009 and is now under reconsideration, presented a more systemic approach which, with a demand and user-based innovation approach that highlights the role of competition and innovation in an open world. In Finland, innovation can comprise, amongst other things, of a public service realized in a new way. The Nordic societies in themselves are strongholds when considering the competitiveness of the region. This is a unique feature which no competitors can copy in the short term. By combining the innovation process, the social engagement, the infrastructure, the know-how and innovative technology, the Nordic countries are in a unique position to be the front runners in the fields of both green growth and welfare. In addition, we have very big public sectors with a size and power to significantly influence markets. This is why the Nordic countries have a unique opportunity to become a world leader for green growth and welfare. The steering group believes that innovation policy should foster and promote synergies between green growth and welfare. And to develop this view further, we have identified specific areas where further development of methods and policies can be best connected to the social, the environmental, and the economic challenges of sustainable development. If those methods and policies are successfully implemented, enormous opportunities will be created to transform global challenges into sustainable societies. This entails a shift from viewing our Nordic model as a discrete welfare state model to seeing it as a model for welfare societies. Whereas welfare states can have mainly focused on the social dimension of sustainability, the larger societal model deals with social challenges together with economic and environmental issues. And this shift is a prerequisite for finding the synergies between green growth and welfare and presenting them as opportunities. Welfare societies see social services as a means to tackle social challenges such as aging and social exclusion, but also as means to enhance national competitiveness, empowering people with human capital. Looking at it another way, it is about the public sector working together with other actors, like I said before, with companies, NGOs, with citizens to help solve social challenges by providing new technology and new solutions. So, the steering committee has identified 3 topics within innovation in green growth and welfare that are especially promising for Nordic cooperation initiatives. And these are public sector innovation, public procurement of innovation, and sustainable business models, all of which have been mentioned by the previous speakers here today. And these issues are horizontal topics containing policy choices that can foster innovations in the field of sustainability. Within each of these 3 main topics, there are 3 cross-cutting lines that illuminate the 3 points of actions recommended and bringing a purpose to the whole scheme and a direction to the recommendations. And the first of these is the link between green growth and welfare, which is represented on the topmost line. At the nexus between the Nordic welfare societies and the emerging green economy lie great opportunities for Nordic cooperation. And the second cross-cutting line is on Nordic added value, as Nordic initiatives should either be new and unique or complement ongoing national activities. And the third cross-cutting line is a global outlook for Nordic cooperation. Together, the Nordic countries are the world's 10th largest economy, and united, the Nordic countries can punch above their weight class in all international arenas. Further, the Nordic region should import the best ideas from the rest of the world and make them their own. So, to conclude, I'm going to talk about the main recommendations. The first being on the issue of public sector innovation. How can the Nordics sustain and improve their extensive welfare societies and maintain economic growth while simultaneously making the transition towards a greener economy? The answer lies to a great extent within innovative thinking on how we deliver our public services in the future. There is, however, little overall direction currently to how we approach this issue, both nationally or on a Nordic level. The Nordic public sectors are not sufficiently aware of the possibilities which innovation can provide in renewing public sector services. Reviewing or renewing the public sector requires new skills, new capabilities, and a new mindset in the public sector. Nordic civil servants must realize their roles as innovation managers and regard the public sector as a driver for innovation. To accomplish this, we need a comprehensive vision to guide us in the right direction. And such a vision must answer the key question: what does smart, green, and inclusive growth look like in the welfare society? Our second recommendation on the public sector innovation is just practical: to launch a joint Nordic program to train civil servants at local and national levels to manage innovation for the renewal of the public services. So we haven't forgotten to be practical. And now over to our second recommendation, which is on the issue of public procurement of innovation. One of the most important aspects of the public sector's role as the driver of innovation, which I described earlier, is the implementation of effective tools for public procurement of innovation to address both social and environmental challenges. And the right tools will bring effective new and better solutions to public procurers and help build strong innovation capacity in Nordic SMEs, small and medium-sized companies, enterprises. The Nordic countries should regard the welfare society as a test bed where services are delivered but also continuously improved and new business opportunities arise for Nordic SMEs. A specific target for how much public procurement should be directed at innovations. In other words, a specific part of all public procurement should contain innovations to help cement that view and push for experimentation and ultimately for better solutions. And we recommend that the Nordic government set a specific goal for procurement of innovation. We saw that Skúli Helgason already set a goal for green public procurement, but we also want a proportion of public procurement to be innovative. And this, of course, will help the economy and make competitiveness stronger in the Nordic region. The second recommendation has to do with the fact that the successful implementation of better public procurement of innovation requires the widespread introduction of new skills and tools for public procurers. A special focus should be on turning single solutions into scalable solutions. This has shown to be a weakness in the Nordic region. We do not scale, we do not connect, and we do not move our ideas around the region. So we should look at scalability and try to implement successful ideas and innovations everywhere in the Nordic region. And we recommend that a Nordic guidebook for public procurers is created, along with a guidebook for policymakers. And this, of course, will just enhance and further the debate and professional practice in the region. Also, lastly, knowledge sharing across Nordic borders is an effective way to increase learning and avoid unnecessary duplication. And on that note, we recommend that strong networks be established between Nordic public procurers to share knowledge and experience on procurement of innovation. And this includes connecting relevant programs and successful programs from the different Nordic countries. Our last recommendation is on sustainable business models, which of course have also been mentioned here today. The elaborate Nordic welfare societies are a great strength for the Nordic countries. And this is what really gives them a competitive edge. We should look at this as a particular and unique opportunity, which should be used to its fullest in creating new business opportunities and new jobs in Nordic SMEs. This could be done by fostering the creation of new sustainable business models to help address both social and environmental issues, as well as create much sought-after economic growth. A Nordic collaborative work is already underway on the development and promotion of new green business models. This effort could be copied to include social business models. A study on the societal business models should be commissioned. Ongoing Nordic efforts on green business models should be strengthened and continued. So we propose that a study should be commissioned to highlight how we can bring green business models to new sectors of the economy and identify which sectors we should focus on. And the study should also look at the synergies between green and social business model development. The steering group for the Nordic Innovation Forum will present these findings to the Nordic Council of Ministers in the fall, in September this year. And we do have some time to develop our recommendations further. All input, suggestions, and discussion is welcomed. And it is our sincere hope that our recommendations will be received positively by the ministers who have the mandate to put them into action. Thank you very much.